11 goals, 2 semifinals, 0 room for error, and one of the greatest weeks of Champions League football we have ever seen. Welcome back to Sports Exchange. I'm your host, Xavier. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now, because this channel is where sports gets broken down the right way. And today we are giving you the full picture. Every goal, every tactical shift, every moment of magic and madness, from the 2026 Champions League semifinals. PSG and Bayern Munich put on an absolute masterclass of attacking football across 2 legs. 11 goals combined, a new UEFA Champions League knockout record. And Arsenal? Arsenal just booked their first Champions League final in 20 years. Let that sink in. Stay locked in. We are going deep on both matchups. We've got the man of the match from each game, and we're previewing what promises to be an all-time final in Budapest on May 30th. PSG versus Bayern Munich. Leg 1 in Paris on April 28th. PSG 5, Bayern Munich 4. Let me start by saying this plainly. This was the greatest single game in Champions League semifinal history. 9 goals. 9. And it wasn't chaotic football. It was 2 elite teams just refusing to blink. From the opening minutes, you could see Luis Enrique's PSG was aggressive in their press, pushing Bayern's back line into uncomfortable positions. The front trio of Kvaratskhelia, Dembélé, and Doué were relentless, direct, sharp, constantly bending the shape of Bayern's defense. Kvaratskhelia was simply unguardable. The Georgian winger ran Nuno Mendes absolutely ragged on that left flank. And Mendes, to be fair, is one of the best fullbacks in world football. Man of the match for leg 1. Kvaratskhelia, 2 goals, 1 assist. Constant menace from first whistle to last. At 25 years old, he is playing the best football of his career and putting himself firmly in the conversation for the Ballon d'Or. Ousmane Dembélé was equally clinical, adding 2 of his own. João Neves, PSG's metronomic midfielder, also got on the score sheet. And for a spell midway through the match, it genuinely looked like Bayern were going to be buried. But here is where the night became extraordinary. Bayern came back. From 3 goals down, Dayot Upamecano, a center-back, found the net. Vincent Kompany's side showed enormous character, but ultimately lost to Paris by a single goal. One player deserves special mention for Bayern, Michael Olise. The Frenchman was the creative heart of Bayern's attack, driving forward with purpose, creating chances. He was the one player who looked like he could single-handedly solve Bayern's attacking equation. His movement off the ball was elite. When Steven Gerrard calls you the best winger in the world after a game, you know you've done something special. Leg 2 in Munich on May 6th. Bayern 1, PSG 1. PSG wins 6-5 on aggregate. If the first leg was all fireworks, the second leg was ice-cold chess, and PSG played it perfectly. PSG came to the Alliance Arena with a plan. Hit early, then defend for your life, and that is exactly what they did. 3 minutes in, 3 minutes. Kvaratskhelia drives forward on the counter, slips it to Dembélé, and the Frenchman fires past Manuel Neuer. 1-0 on the night, 6-4 on aggregate. The pressure on Bayern just became immense. From that moment, Luis Enrique's side transformed into a completely different team. The defensive structure PSG showed was a genuine exhibition. Compact, disciplined, every player working for each other, bodies on the line. They slowed the game down whenever they could. They frustrated Bayern at every turn. Marquinhos was commanding at the back, organizing, communicating, winning everything. Bayern tried it all. Kompany brought on Alphonso Davies and Kim Min-jae in the 67th minute to inject energy and physicality. But PSG's defensive line held firm. Manuel Neuer, to his credit, was making saves at the other end. Kompany pointed to controversy. First, a caution Nuno Mendes allegedly handled the ball to stop an attack, but avoided a second yellow. Then, a João Neves handball that wasn't given. And in football, those moments matter. But over 2 legs, PSG were just the better side, and the scoreline reflects that. Man of the match for leg 2, Ousmane Dembélé. That 3rd-minute goal changed everything about this game. And beyond the goal, Dembélé worked tirelessly defensively, tracking back, closing down, doing the unglamorous work that champions do. This was a complete performance. Is Dembélé putting his name on the Ballon d'Or trophy alongside Kvaratskelia's? The debate is wide open. Arsenal versus Atlético Madrid, Leg 1. In Madrid on April 29th, Atlético won, Arsenal won. Diego Simeone brought his Atlético Madrid side with one clear mandate: make Arsenal uncomfortable, make them battle, make them earn every single inch. And for long stretches, it worked. The first half was cagey, both sides feeling each other out. Then Victor Gyökeres won a penalty after being brought down by David Hanko. Gyökeres stepped up, cool as you like, and slotted it home. But Atletico fought back. In the 56th minute, Ben White gets a handball. VAR confirmed the penalty. And Julian Alvarez, one of the most reliable penalty takers in world football, converted without hesitation. 1-1. Game on. The drama didn't stop there. Arsenal were awarded a late penalty for a foul on Eberechi Eze. The Emirates would have gone absolutely wild, but VAR intervened and overturned the decision after a lengthy review. Arsenal were furious. And then Griezmann, with the last real chance of the night, curled a shot that clipped the post. A fraction away from a Simeone masterpiece. But let's talk about who controlled the game for Arsenal. Declan Rice. The man led all players on the pitch in line-breaking passes, 12 of them, and 12 progressive carries. In an away game against the most organized defensive side in the competition, Rice was Arsenal's engine and shield. Man of the match for leg one, Declan Rice. He was the reason Arsenal controlled large parts of this game in one of Europe's most hostile stadiums. That's not just good, it's staggering. Rice is one of the top 3 midfielders in world football right now, period. Leg 2 was in London on May 5th. Arsenal won, Atletico 0. Arsenal win 2-1 on aggregate. Arsenal hadn't been in a Champions League final for 20 years. That weight was felt at the Emirates on Tuesday night. Declan Rice, just minutes into the match, made a crucial block on Giuliano Simeone, an intervention that changes the trajectory of a tie. The breakthrough came in the 44th minute. Leandro Trossard created space and fired a shot that Jan Oblak couldn't fully secure. Bukayo Saka tapped it home. The second half was relentless pressure. Griezmann, playing in his final Champions League appearance, tested David Raya in the 56th minute. But Raya, who has saved more goals than any goalkeeper in this competition since last season, stood firm. Victor Gyökeres missed a late chance, but they held. They defended with everything. And when that whistle blew, Arteta fell to his knees. 20 years, they were back. Man of the match for leg 2, Bukayo Saka, captain, leader, match winner. He is carrying Arsenal to Budapest, and the world is watching. The defending champions PSG will face Arsenal, a team fueled by 2 decades of hunger. Let's break down what each team must do to win the Champions League finals. PSG's formula is simple. Hurt you early, then suffocate you. They'll look to take the early lead, then play lockdown defense. Kvaratskhelia is the key. Arsenal's fullbacks, Ben White on the right especially, will be tested like never before. If Kvara gets into his rhythm, Arsenal will spend the entire game chasing shadows. PSG need to isolate him in one-on-one situations and let his natural genius do the rest. João Neves must control the tempo. If Neves wins the midfield battle against Rice, PSG win the final. Arsenal cannot afford to be passive. Arteta must set his team up to press high and be aggressive in the first 15 minutes. David Raya in goal is one of Arsenal's biggest weapons. He has conceded just 13 goals from nearly 23 expected goals in this competition since last season. That is extraordinary shot stopping. Against Dembélé, Kvaratskhelia, and Doué, Raya will need another performance of that caliber. Bukayo Saka and Victor Gyökeres must be at their absolute best. Saka's ability to drift inside combined with Gyökeres, who has been a revelation since arriving in the Premier League, gives Arsenal a genuine cutting edge. If Gyökeres gets the supply he needs, he can hurt any defense in world football. He has the physicality, the pace, and the finish. This is 50-50 to me, and that's what makes it the perfect Champions League final. PSG have the experience of being defending champions. They know what it takes to win this tournament. Arsenal have the hunger of 20 years, a manager at the top of his game, and a home crowd in their hearts, even in Budapest. And don't forget, PSG just won the League One title, and Arsenal are the new Premier League champions. Across major odds makers, PSG enters as favorites with a 58% implied probability, while Arsenal is priced around 44%. One thing is guaranteed, it will be unforgettable. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your score prediction in the comments and let me know who you think wins. If you like this breakdown, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you in Budapest for the finals.